Okay, everyone, and welcome to my patch review. Now, I'd gone over this before. You guys don't know this, but I know this. I got over this before because I kind of forgot there's a patch review today. So I went over it pretty quickly because I had, other stuff to do, but then I forgot that it is a very small patch. In fact, I didn't forget that. I just didn't know till I got to the end of it. So now I'm doing it again, but this time I'll explain things a little bit more because when I only went over things lightly, it wasn't that, so Akali, her Q can't be cast during her E, and her ultimate is losing some base damage. Now this is to make her have to take more time to actually animate her abilities and to lower her damage. Yeah. She was overpowered, she got nerfed. Darius, they say they're reverting his nerfs, but his E used to go 24 to 12. It's still 24 to 14, which is better than what it used to be, for sure, but it's not actually a full revert. Now, his passive is a full revert. This was obviously done because of the Stridebreaker change. If you might remember, they killed Stridebreaker on champions like Darius, and so he hasn't been doing too great, and they're trying to give him back his power. There was also a really funny video on the front page of Reddit where they showed that even if Darius got full stacks of his passive and Conqueror and had Ignite and had Bone Plating, that Gwen would auto attack him to death at level 1. So if both of them were full health and Darius still somehow started with full Conqueror, full passive, Ignite, and Bone Plating, he would still lose. Now obviously all it takes is Gwen also having Ignite to beat him here, but at the very least, he won't lose with literally every advantage. Dr. Mundo is getting nerfed for the top lane and buff for the jungle, which is confusing considering I thought he was supposed to be top lane and not in the jungle anymore. So, okay. Sure. Garen is getting more movement speed. I just want to specify on that Mundo stuff before I leave. I could go over all of these in great detail, but the majority of you don't care, do you? You don't care that Infected Cleaver now heals for 100% of the health cost if it hits a monster. Now the same is when it hits an enemy champion. Like, you don't care about that. What you want to know is, what is this change doing, okay? So, it's nerfing his top lane, buffing his jungle. Ta-da! Garen, getting more movement speed on his Q, his ult will hit harder on the execute. That's important because he gets more damage and movement speed. That's good. Generally speaking, moving faster and doing more damage are two of the most important things you can do. So, yeah. Graves. Now, if I had more time to edit, or if I cared to edit more or something, I don't really know, I would show how many times this has gone up, down, up, down, up, down. Because it's been 66, 68, 66, 68, 66, 68. I don't think I'm even exaggerating either. I think it's actually gone up and down that many times. Holy crap. Illaoi is getting a lot of movement speed, 10 more in fact. This one's a bit sketchy to me. I'm not entirely sure I agree with this one, but okay. Getting more movement speed. She had below average movement speed, now she has above average movement speed. This means, whereas in the past she moved at the speed of Darius and Garen, and it could be slightly outpaced by your average melee champion, she now slightly outpaces your average melee champion. So, oh no. Irelia. Basically, the gist of all these changes are they're removing some tricks. I have a whole video on this if you want to see me go over it. Her E can only be recast under crowd control. Her E now is a fixed missile travel time, even if you put it directly under yourself. Her Q now moves slightly slower. Her early game is massively nerfed. But basically, she can stack up her passive faster with 4 stacks instead of 5. It does less damage early game. Does a little bit more damage in the late game. And that's about it for the... Oh, right, and her W damage reduction now scales really hard. And it gets half of that in magic damage. So W reduced magic damage a little bit, and it reduced physical damage a lot. So, yeah. Ivern. Is another champion who's getting stuff reverted, which, boy, that seems to be the theme of this patch. He's getting his shield, the base shield amount, reverted. Whoopee. Karma is losing some attack damage. That means that she's losing some attack damage. She's going to lane in solo worse because she won't be able to last hit and harass as easily. She's going to lane in support worse because she won't be able to trade like all in. Her auto attacks will do less, and she'll also do less poke. Basically, Karma became exceptionally overpowered at the super high ranks, like ridiculously overpowered. So they're nerfing her. She is gaining some healing from her passive. Everyone she hits with her passive, she'll heal on. And it has now scaling damage, but in return, her Q got nerfed, her W got nerfed, her E got nerfed, and her R got nerfed. Now her Q does scale better, eventually. And her, oh wait, her W didn't get nerfed. Yeah, her W got the AD ratio, or sorry, AP ratio buffed and the damage at the higher ranks buffed. And her E got smacked into the ground. So this got nerfed, this got nerfed, this got nerfed early game, buffed late game, this got buffed. I don't know, I'm clicking the wrong things. Basically, look, if you don't understand what Irelia does, she's better in the later game, I guess. I don't really understand. The whole point of this seems to just be to make her heal with her passive and to make her passive now scale better. That seems to be the whole purpose. I guess. I don't know, man. Sometimes, whatever. Basically, her. I'm just gonna move past it, though I spend so much time on it. Malzahar is gaining some nerves. Yes, gaining some nerves. I said that very sophisticatedly. His health is going down, and his AP ratios are going, well, AP ratio and his Q is going down. Malzahar, more like Nerfzahar. Anyway, Nocturne. Nocturne, his Umbral Braid's damage and healing against minions is now reduced to half. Riot has finally said, you know what? Nocturne running up and automatically beating everyone in any trade, no matter how hard he got outplayed. That was probably a bad idea, right? That was probably a bad idea. So, yeah, they're gonna go ahead and tone that down a little bit, probably. Maybe, yes, they are. With the Stridebreaker change, he'll still be good. The Stridebreaker's getting nerfed. I'll get to that later. With the Stridebreaker nerf, he'll still probably be good. But at the very least, he won't automatically and with no counterplay win every single trade, no matter how hard you hit or do anything, because he's healing for 130 every goddamn time. Anyway, Rek'Sai is getting more Q damage, and they like to be consistent, so they are also buffing her Q damage. Yeah. So her Q damage and her Q damage are getting buffed. Yeah. Belle Delphine is getting more AP ratio on her Q. The items shuffle them up, so they did a little bit ago, left her a little bit shuffled up backwards, as in bad. I don't know if that made sense. I don't really care. We're moving past it. Shaco, movement speed nerf, health nerf. While in the past he had a slightly above average movement speed, he now has average movement speed. That's about it. So he can't literally chase you down anymore over long distances. I guess he moves slightly slower. I mean, movement speed nerfs to the jungle actually are more impactful than I'm giving it credit, because it means he moves between camps slightly slower. It means his ganks are slightly worse. It means he can position just that little bit worse. I'm sure Shaco players are gonna feel it at least a little bit, you know. Tom Kench. So once again, going with the theme of you guys don't care about the actual numbers, you just want to know about what's happening. Tom Kenchington. Thomas Kenchington. His passive is gaining some flat damage onto it, which gives it some scaling damage. Now, this doesn't mean that they've buffed the health ratio, just that as you level up, it gains more flat damage. There's a buff to his damage. No matter what, his damage is getting buffed. His Q is losing a decent chunk of the missing health damage, but in return, it's getting some flat healing. So he can keep himself topped off a little bit better, I guess, but the healing got nerfed pretty bad. But his Q now hits his passive, so his Q hits harder. So his passive hits harder, his Q hits harder, but he heals less. There was some fucky wuckiness with Abyssal Dive, and that's been fixed. The cooldown should now be slightly higher if you actually hit someone, I guess. Lastly, his ultimate is better at eating people. Your shield is better and your self-slow is lower. Taric is getting his mana cost reduced. Now, anyone who plays Taric should know that Taric's mana costs are a very important aspect of the champion. Sorry, someone just spam DM'd me. Taric needs mana. He spams his abilities really hard. Reducing his mana, that's a very good thing, because he needs his mana to be lower to spam all his abilities. Now, I don't know if this guy's right here. Oh my god, I'm so sleepy. I don't know if this is going to do anything to make him viable, but it definitely is a buff to what makes him strong. This would be like, just for example, buffing Darius's ultimate damage. It's like the most important part to Taric is, can he keep his mana up to continuously spam every ability? Xin Zhao is getting a nerf on his W cooldown. Now, just so you know, when Xin Zhao hits you with his Q, each hit of his Q reduces the cooldown by 3. So effectively, this is going from a 3-second to a 5-second. That might not seem like a lot, but especially with cooldown reduction, it's probably a lot more than you're thinking. What a lot of Xin Zhao players would do is they would, hit you with W, charge in, 1, 2, 3, W again with some ability haste. They can't, at the very least, they won't be able to do that as quickly anymore. There'll be a little bit of a, if he opens with his W, he won't be able to use his W again instantly until he stacks a good chunk of ability haste, and it would need to be a lot. So not just like one item. Zig's mana base is going down, I guess. I don't know. Oh, hell. Buff on Dead Man's Blade, but it's basically nothing. I mean, 5 more armor, who cares? Giant nerf to Stride Breaker. The slow went down a lot, and then the health and attack damage got shuffled. Some graphics updates to Zillion, Lucian, Renekton, some changes to that game mode they're doing. Oh yeah, so this is what they're actually adding. Cool. Yeah, so you can go read that if you want. So apparently chat restrictions will all be in 3 and 7 days rather than 10 and 25 games. I don't think that's a good thing. I actually think the games were far better. This seems to impact people who play a lot more. And I'm not sure why they would even do this. This seems like a totally whatever. I don't think there's anything here that's important, is there? Yeah, sometimes there's some. Oh, okay, so here's one that's kind of important. Wait, and here's 2. Actually, sorry, sometimes you have to really read these a lot of times. Healing projectiles from the divide center no longer interrupt attack windups. That one was a... I didn't actually know that was in the game. It felt sometimes like it, but I didn't actually know for myself. And here's one. Steric's Gauge would always activate during Scion's passive. A lot of people notice that. He would always get Steric's Gauge in his passive. for some reason, and they're removing that. I don't think Scion needed a nerf, but it's a bug fix. But maybe they should have snuck in a buff with him there. Probably should have snuck in a buff with him. He's not doing terribly amazing. As for the new skins, Ruined Pantheon, Ascended Pantheon Prestige Edition. Hey, look at it. It's Ruined Pantheon and then Ascended Pantheon. That's not that cool. And this is also not that cool. Is this the god? I think this is the god, not the human, not Atreus or whatever his name is. Sentinel Olaf. What's the story on this? What, he went to go kill Viego because he wants to die in battle, I guess? I mean, that kind of makes sense. Sure, I'll go for it. Sentinel Riven. I think, isn't her whole thing that she no longer fights? What is this, like, goddamn Marvel, the Avengers? Like, Riven, we need you to fight for us. No, we gave up on that a long time ago. No, Riven, this time the fate of the world is at hand. Oh, I guess I'll come fight for the world then. Ugh. Sentinel Diana. Okay, just thighs. Sorry, thighs. I mean, let's be honest. This is thighs, the skin, right? I mean, Sentinel Irelia. Yeah, I mean, she cute, I guess. I don't know. Vayne. How come her skin is like with all the other Sentinels, right? With all the other female Sentinels, I mean, they tried to do like a big thighs thing, I guess. Is that their thing? Or are these just the thighs skin line, I guess? I'm not wrong, am I? Like, they all have thighs, right? Like, look. Gap, thigh gap, thigh gap, thigh gap. Look, I'm not wrong. I'm not crazy. They're all there. Wait. Okay. And then some chromas. I guess. Man, Rolling Pantheon wasn't terrible. That's ugly. Ew. God, I hate that champion. Piece of shit. Actually, wait. Irelia, Diana, Riven, and Vayne got the skins. Alright, it's just giving the old middle finger to top lane, huh? Anyway, that's a batch. I made this as long as I could for you guys that like watching these long videos. This is as long as it can humanly get to, guys. This patch was short. I hope I made it entertaining, though. Anyway, thank you to my Patreon supporters. Thank you to everyone who was here. Thank you to everyone. I appreciate you all. Try to give you guys at least a fun patch. The last time I went through this, it was 8 minutes. I kid you not, I got to 8 minutes in this video. So this patch could honestly be done much quicker, but I wanted to go over it, I guess, a little bit more. I mean, yeah, I did probably go through it at a pretty reasonable pace. I didn't go through it quickly, but I think I went through it reasonably, right? You guys can't complain. No one can complain. There's a fine speed. I didn't take too slow. I didn't go too fast. This is a good speed. I think we all feel good about this, right? Right? We all feel good. Us together, me and you guys. Except for this. This is the prestige skin, really. 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 I hope it looks better in game. Anyway, thank you everybody. Have a great day. Have a great everything. Appreciate you all. Thank you everybody. Bye-bye.